Meet Natalie. Natalie loves books.
This is your brain on books. Any questions? And this is Angela. She's a very serious jazz singer.
Shooby-dooby-dooby-doop-doop-doo. And sure, we both like to stay informed, but this world sometimes, am I right? You know what we need? 30 minutes of meditation.
Pop culture meditation.
So we're here to remind you.
We get it. You're smart. But right now, take a deep breath and put your books down. Hey, Angela, hi.
Hi, Natalie.
What's up?
Well, it's a happy Sunday.
Yes.
Frank and I went for a beautiful nature walk.
Nice. Is it cold?
It's crisp.
It's freezing here.
It's like the 45-ish,
Yuck. I know.
but
I am
delightful.
not going outside today.
Perfect for a walk.
Oh, good. Okay, yeah.
You know.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
So we went on a nice little nature walk. I took some videos of ducks. I posted them on Instagram, everybody.
Ah, yes, I saw.
Yes, I think this comes out like 2 weeks after that, so
Okay.
whatever. But it was really nice. And then I went to the store and I got stuff to make hot roast.
Ooh.
I've got a pot roast in the oven.
Oh.
Yes.
Only you could make that sound sassy.
I love that pot roast. in the
You
oven.
could also eat on that all week. It's like a very well thought out meal plan.
Yes. Speaking of meal planning, I have this friend who's like doing these videos and she's like, okay, everybody, it's Sunday. I'm just thinking about my week and here's what I'm going to do for my meal plan. Do you meal plan? I mean, you
No.
probably do.
No. I go to the store. If I'm cooking, I go to like 3 different grocery stores each time I am going to make something.
Now, see, I am the same way.
Or
and
Instacart. I don't know.
Same.
Depends on the time of day.
Right?
It's going to be crazy at the grocery store. I'm not going to do it.
You're Instacarting, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
But I am so, I guess, ADD or something that I can't think that far ahead of what I'm going to want to eat. Like,
Well,
I
I
can't
changed
think-
my mind too.
same. I'm like, Sunday, I don't know what I'm going to want to eat on Thursday. I don't even know if I'm cooking at home on Thursday. Like,
I
Do you know
want
what
to
I'm saying?
know. I am cooking food for other people, and I'm like, okay, so
Mhm.
this has all this stuff. Anyway, I
right.
don't meal plan.
Yeah,
I
me
don't, and
neither.
I'm not good with leftovers. I'm trying to get better
Right.
because I don't want to waste food, but it's difficult. So, I mean, what I suggested for dinner tonight was scoffed at a little bit.
Oh, really?
'Cause I
What was it?
Scott ate a bunch of leftovers from the weekend today while I was doing prep for this, and I was like, "Well, I know you're not hungry right now, but what do you think about for dinner?" He's like, "I don't know. What do you want?" I was like, "I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't hate like a BLT. Like if you got stuff for BLTs, I'll make BLTs with some mac and cheese." And he's this, and when I say mac and cheese, that means Kraft mac and cheese. And he just goes, Kraft. I was like, is there any other kind? He's like, I don't know, just hearing hearing that just makes me like, ugh. I mean, if I'm hungry enough, or I was like, oh, and then I was like, well, what about hot dogs and mac and cheese? And he was like, mm-hmm. And then I was like, well, he was like, don't we have hot dogs? I was like, they look like light gray Band-Aids, so
Oh.
no.
Gross.
And I was like, okay, so I tried to do a compromise. Like, well, what if we ate hot dogs with Caesar salad in a bag as the side?
Sure, right.
Yeah. And he was like,
And
he didn't say anything. He just goes, no, kind of nodded. He was like, like that's better than the Kraft mac and cheese. But
But you make, I know what you cook during the week because you send me pictures. We send each other pictures of our food, everybody.
Yeah.
By the way, welcome to Put Your Books Down. This is Natalie and I
Welcome
having a conversation about
to put
food.
your books down. Thank you so
in
much for
case
being
you-
here. If you're here, you're still here.
Right. I know you cook really nice food because you send me
Yeah.
pictures of what you cook. So I know it's not all Kraft mac and
No,
cheese.
it's Sunday. It's cold
Right.
outside. I just,
Right. Yes.
I think I love a hot dog.
Sure.
I
Well,
mean,
I know. Yeah.
But I
Who
just
doesn't?
think, well, there are people that don't like hot dogs.
True.
And it's hard to beat like a hot dog and a pickle and,
girlfriend.
some other
Yeah.
type of like gross side. But I also, it's not like there's not a lot of nutrition in the Caesar in a bag. So,
True.
but it's technically salad.
But it's
But I doctor it
technically
up
salad.
with lots of extra Parmesan.
and
I'm
what
gonna
and
toast some breadcrumbs.
Yep.
Mhm.
All right. Well, you know what?
If we do that.
Here's my thing about that is like, if somebody is offering to make me dinner or food of any kind, I'm gonna say, yeah,
Oh, and he does.
I know. Oh,
I
I'm
look
not making
Oh,
fun of
yeah.
him.
I
I'm
know.
just saying, like,
I look for a reason for him to scoff at the hot dog and any of the mac and cheese comments.
yes, right, yeah, no, it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I know
He
it's all
loves a hot
funny.
dog.
I know everybody
Yeah.
does, but it's fine, like, yeah.
Yeah.
It's also like along the lines of, if you're gonna load my dishwasher, I don't care how you load the dishwasher. Like, load the dishwasher however you like.
You say that now, but you've never had me over to load your dishwasher, and
Really?
apparently yes, I apparently I'm the worst, and this isn't based on Scott. This is based, like, on lots of my, parents' friends when I would always help clean the kitchen and and, like, try to help, like, my other mother, Cynthia, beautiful
Mhm,
Cynthia East, I've
mhm,
always tried to, like, help clean and, like, do
mhm.
that after we eat,
Yeah.
and when I'm loading the dishwasher, she's just like, "Okay, just skip it. You put that down because it just doesn't make sense." And then I just rammed the door shut and I'm like, "It's in there." There's no flow.
I
There's
wouldn't be mad
no
at you about that.
there's not like there's like things covering other things that would not be able to get cleaned.
Let me ask you something. When you open the dishwasher after this debacle, is it debacle or debacle?
Debacle.
I think it's debacle. I heard somebody say
Debacle.
debacle the other day. I was like, it's
No.
not debacle.
No.
Do the dishes come out clean? Oh my God, I just heard Scott in
Do
the
you hear
background
my
saying no.
commentary?
I see you have a peanut gallery.
You're an honey, you're an audience member.
So the answer is no. Sometimes not.
Sometimes not, but that's not
Okay.
always my fault. Sometimes people
It's
put
not your fault.
dishes in the dishwasher with too much chunks of other things on them.
Chunks.
So,
Chunks.
anywho,
Chunks. All right, we need
let's
to
get to it. I'm
let's
so
move
glad you've had a
along.
lovely Sunday. I'm
Same.
having a
Yes.
lovely Sunday as well, and
Great.
I'm excited
Fabulous.
about whatever dinner that we have together. It will be
I think it'll
great.
be great. I do have a great recipe for you for if you're ever interested. It's called grown up mac and cheese. It takes just as much time as the Kraft mac and cheese, and it's so good. So good.
What does the
Anyway,
grown-up part mean?
it's almost like cacio e pepe, but you just add cheese to it.
Hmm.
It's really, really good.
Okay.
It's easy to make. It's
Okay.
so easy. I'll send you the recipe. Anyway,
Okay. Well, today, Angela,
yes,
we are going
yes,
to talk
Natalie.
about one of my favorite movies. This movie is just so fantastic, and it's like universally loved. Like
Yes,
everybody, anybody just loves
yes,
this movie. There's just something. It has that je ne sais quoi. It's just got
it
all the.
does.
It's got
It
all the
has it
things.
all.
It has it all.
Just like
We're
sip
gonna talk
on.
about yes. We're gonna talk about The Devil Wears Prada,
Yes.
starring Anne Hathaway, Meryl Streep, Emily Blunt, Stanley the
Oh, the
Tucci,
tooch.
that douchebag from Entourage,
Oh
and
man.
that creepy dude with the blonde hair, Simon Baker, whatever.
Yeah, I have notes about Simon Baker.
I do too.
Okay.
This was in 2006.
Yep.
It's so fantastic. It has everything. It has New York City. It's got fashion. It's got Meryl. It's got
It's got
Tucci. It's got a makeover montage. It's got
Oh yeah.
Paris. And it
Yes.
has the shitty boyfriend that we all like to meet, you know?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. 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 Yes.
And so this is about Anne Hathaway is this girl named Andy. She went to Northwestern. Obviously, that's made very clear. She wants
Yes.
to be a journalist.
Mm-hmm.
She interviews for this job at Runway, aka Vogue. So this movie is very much a depiction without saying it about Anna Wintour,
Right.
right? The
Right.
lead editor of Vogue magazine,
Right. Right.
and that's played by Meryl Streep, who's like Miranda Priestley. She's Anna Wintour, and so it's called Runway magazine, not Vogue. But she goes in for this interview. Everybody knows how this happens, and she's trying to be a journalist. She becomes one of the assistants to Meryl Streep, and it's a glimpse into the fashion world, and how this and quite frankly, it's hard to watch sometimes because Lauren worked at Armani when we were in New York, and this movie is incredibly accurate because
Right.
Collins and I remember Lauren having this was my sister had to live like this when she worked for Armani, and it was like, I mean, leaving in the middle of a movie, having to go do something like she was having to go to Paris. She had no real life outside of this job, but I'll get back into that because
Mm-hmm.
Collins and I handled it quite differently than her boyfriend and friends did,
Right,
which
right, right,
were
right, right.
assholes. But anyway,
Yes.
so she's on this journey. She's figuring out. She's like, I don't like fashion. I don't get it. She's very like
To
granola-y to start
yeah,
with. Then we get
yeah.
this beautiful makeover montage. She gets under Stanley Tucci's wing. She starts getting into her job and taking it more seriously, and becomes this like amazing assistant to
Miranda
Miranda.
Priestley. Mhm.
And yeah, then it kind of goes from there. It's would you call this, I guess technically it's a rom-com, but I don't, there's not a whole lot of rom, which I like. I think it's more, um, mm, I don't know. What kind of genre? Comedy? I mean, sorta. It's cute. I mean,
It's kind of a com-dram in a way.
com-dram. Okay,
I would
I'll
call
take
it a
that.
com-dram
Mhm.
because, first of all, she's yeah, it's kind of comedic, but it's also kind of like a little too close to home. And so
Yes,
it's very real. The emotions
it's
in this movie are
very
very
real.
real. And uh yeah, it's very real life.
Well,
Like you
I
said, it's
mean,
accurate, I feel
it's
like, for
very
this
accurate. I
fashion
mean, there's a
industry.
lot of fat shaming, and that, and as
Oh, yeah.
offensive as that is now, unfortunately, that's New York and that's the fashion world. And no matter what day and age and what,
Yes.
every, like, even though, that we have plus size models now and stuff like that, it doesn't change the fact that that's just the way that it is. Like six is like, was like a 14, and it still
Mhm.
is like that in the fashion world. So,
Yeah.
you have this like, relatable character, Anne Hathaway. And let's just jump to, a lot of people hate Anne Hathaway. Okay.
That was gonna be one of my questions of you when we started talking about this movie.
I
But
I
let's still
used to she used to really bug me.
yeah.
Um, she was pretty obnoxious. She was really good in Brokeback Mountain,
She
and that's
was.
how she actually got this role, because Meryl Streep loved her performance in Brokeback Mountain and
Oh,
wanted
okay.
her for
Yeah,
this, which very disconnect, but I get it.
right.
I think she was really annoying for a long time, and now I think she's kinda cool. I don't know, I think that she had to deal with people hating her for not really any real reason, just because she was all over like, everywhere, and, like, winning a lot, and she just came off annoying. Nothing, there was no, like, particular thing. She didn't do anything. She was just like this, like, drama, a little obnoxious. I don't know. There was a thing there,
Kinda drama clubby,
but
kind
it
of
wasn't
like
fair.
fresh face. I
Yeah,
mean,
I don't think it
the
was
thing is,
fair,
it
but
wasn't fair,
and
but I
she's
think
beautiful and she's fun. I mean, she's a great
she's
actress.
talented, she's
Yeah.
funny, she's cute. The thing about it is she was doing all these kids kinda movies like Princess Diaries and stuff, and I feel like
Well, she'd do one
that
of those movies, and then she'd do a movie where she showed her boobers, and then she'd go back to Princess Diaries Part 2, and then she does, like, Brokeback, and now she's in Devil Wears
Right.
Prada, so it was just like, beep, beep, pew, 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 like,
Yeah.
we just, like, pick a lane. I love
Sure.
the, um,
The
the
variety,
variety that she was
the
choosing, and
versatility.
honestly, in the
Mhm.
long run, I think that was probably really great that she did that, but at the time, we're like, "Are you Disney or are you
Right.
Ang Lee? Like, who are you?"
Yeah, right. Yeah, 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 yeah. I know.
There
I'm
was no
not mad at her,
consistency.
though.
I'm not mad at
I've
her.
never been mad at Anne Hathaway, and even
I was.
when I see her on interviews and stuff, I do think she's super like, she's very attentive and plugged in, like, on interviews and stuff. She's very
Mhm.
like, "Oh my god." You could tell she's on at all times,
Mhm.
and I think that might be what it is. But
Mhm.
if you've ever hung around people who are, like, in the media, in the spotlight, they often are on at all times.
Well, and
So
wouldn't
there's
you
just, like, a
rather them be
personality.
on than not give a shit and
Yeah.
act like they can't be bothered
Yeah, some
by
people have that
the
persona.
the people that pay for their salaries, you know?
Right. Some people
So,
just have a good job, like, or are good at being cool, like,
I
too
mean,
cool,
just
and
don't be
she's
so
not.
hard on people, especially people you don't know.
I know, we don't know what's going on,
I
but
gotta tell
here's
myself that all the time.
right. I mean, you can't all be, uh, too cool for school. Can't all be I don't know who's too
She
cool. I'm
never
trying
came across too
no,
cool for school. It was like
no.
dork
She was
palooza.
dork palooza, yeah.
I mean, that was just
So, I think this is my speaking of the actors in this movie, I think this is my first Emily Blunt sighting. I think this is
this
my
was her
first
breakout role.
I think this is my first ride on the Emily Blunt Express.
What a treasure.
I feel like this is my first time down on the seesaw with Emily Blunt. I
She
feel like
was nominated for a Golden Globe for this,
yes,
and it was like her
she
first big movie, and she She's just the best. I just
She's
love everything that she does.
I know.
And I
But
think she'd be cool to be friends with. Like, I want to be friends with her.
100%.
And she and Anne Hathaway are like best friends in real
They
life after
are?
that. Yes.
Nuh-uh.
Yes.
Oh, I love that. I didn't
They
know
were
that.
like became best friends making this movie. And it's so fun because
Mm.
she's such
Arch
a
nemesis in this movie.
hater.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've seen her in so many things. I didn't realize as I was like scrolling through some of her movies on IMDb that she was in Sunshine Cleaning. Did you ever see
Yes.
that?
Yes, of course, with
We
Amy
never have
Adams.
talked about that. I love that movie.
It's such a good movie. It's
I
so
forgot.
dark. Well,
It's
'cause
dark.
it's really hard. It's like that was during the Little Miss Sunshine. It was like that whole indie. It's an independent film, and it was kind of like shot the same way, and like the
Yes.
cinematography looked the same as Little Miss Sunshine.
Yes.
But that's kind of dark too. But that's a really good movie. But she's a really good dramatic actress. I mean, she's nominated for an Academy Award right now for Oppenheimer. She was amazing
I
in
know.
Oppenheimer.
I know.
She's just
she's
great,
a
and she's
treasure.
funny.
She's
And she's
funny.
married to dude
John
from The Office,
Krasinski.
John Krasinski.
I know.
Are they the cutest couple you've ever seen in your life?
Ever. Cutest
My
couple
God.
ever. I know. So
Adorable.
cute. And the thing is, she can do like an amazing American accent,
Yes.
which I didn't even know she was English for the longest time. Like she doesn't do it in Devil Wears Prada, but she does it in
and
Sunshine
she's
Cleaning.
also like a major like singer.
Yeah, she can sing like
So can Anne Hathaway. They both sing like crazy.
I know Aaron.
Pardon?
Anne Hathaway was like a soprano who was gonna be in like Phantom of the Opera or one of those, and she couldn't do it because she got called for this, I think, or something like that.
But she won the Academy Award for what's that really sad?
Les
She had her head shaved for.
Yeah.
Yeah. She
plays
won for
Fantine.
that movie, and she sang like
I know.
wowzers.
Yeah.
Girl can sing.
So yeah, and Emily Blunt. For me, this is kind of Emily Blunt's movie, though, in a way.
Agreed.
Right?
Well, I think it's Meryl's movie.
I think it's also the Tooch.
But we love the Tooch. We got to get it. Well, you know that Stanley Tucci is married to Emily Blunt's sister.
I know.
And that she's the one that films those wonderful, wonderful Instagram videos of him cooking, pasta
Italian
with
food
using Parmesan Raglione, like he says, and he uses all of the proper Italiano.
And he just is.
He's just darling. He's just so dear.
I can't get enough of that guy.
I know. Right. I love that dude.
So I have mixed feelings about this movie, and let me tell you why. I've got some mixed feelings because, first of all, on the one hand, it's like, okay, caring that much about a job, like, oh, geez. I have total PTSD from being an assistant to high-powered people who were diva-like, like Miranda Priestley, but not even a woman. The person that I had that was a diva was a man. But I was like doing things all day and all night long to like reschedule travel and like impossible travel things. Like when Miranda Priestley's like, well, I have to get out because the twins have their little performance tomorrow, whatever. Just find me a plane. And she's like, there's a hurricane coming through. And she's like, oh, it's drizzling. And she's like,
impossible.
It's impossible. Impossible expectations. And you're just like watching this going, I have so much anxiety.
There's PTSD. I have that from when it's, wait, let's go back to how we meet Meryl.
Oh, yes, sorry.
She's wonderfully terrifying, right?
Yes.
The first thing she said to Anne Hathaway was, nice to meet you. I'm so glad we're doing this film together. And that's the last nice thing I'm going to say to you during this process. She did method acting for this role.
Right. That's right. I've heard that. Yes.
And I don't think she's done that before. And she's not done it since because she was like, it was awful. Like she hated doing it. And anyway, but
because she said she was like, everybody else is like cutting up, laughing their heads off.
Yeah.
Like
she was missing out on the fun.
Is it Andy or is it Emily Blunt's character that falls down when she's, is it Emily Blunt? Or is it Anne Hathaway that falls down when they're going down the hallway? Somebody falls down.
I think it's Anne Hathaway.
And everybody's like dying on the set, on the crew, on the set. And she's like not laughing at all. And because she's trying to stay in character. And she said something in an interview like that was not fun.
Yeah, she's like, she's never done that again.
Yeah.
But you know that since this was supposed to be about Anna Wintour, a lot of designers. So this is full of like top designers, but a lot of the designers were too scared to participate in this movie because they figured that Anna Wintour was going to shun them for being a part of this movie.
Right.
Well, She
It's
got
like,
an
really,
advanced
dude?
screening of the movie, and actually the rumor is that she loved it. She thought it
Right.
was, like, spot on and loved it,
Yeah.
and then the only designer, the first designer that was like, "Oh, Prada," was the first one that's like, "She won't care. She'll love this. Like, we're gonna
Mhm.
be part of it." So that's, like, the first designer you see, featured
Right.
in this movie, um, but people were afraid because they were like, "Well, she's the runs Vogue. If we do this and it's making fun of her in any way," which it wasn't making fun of her. It was like an account of, you know,
The
what
world.
the fashion world is like, and
Yeah.
what it's like to work for someone that high up. It's in people. For example, her boyfriend, the dude from Entourage,
Yeah.
Anne
Adrian
Hathaway's boyfriend.
Grenier. Is that his name?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
so everyone and her friends suck. He sucks
They all
because
kinda suck.
everyone's like, giving her a hard time for being in fashion and making fun of it. And she had that mentality too. And then there's a scene in the movie where she's wearing this blue sweater, and Meryl Streep's like, she laughs about two turquoise belts being next to each
Yes.
other. And she laughs,
Yes.
and Meryl's like, "What's so funny?" She's like, "They just both look like the same thing to me." She's like, "Oh, really?" She's like, "I'm just still learning about this stuff, like calling
Right.
fashion this stuff." And then Meryl gives this amazing like monologue about, this cerulean blue color, and she's like, "You've made a choice that you think you've made a choice that excludes you, that you're wearing a frumpy sweater because you don't care. And in fact, that sweater was selected by us for you because it was featured in like a whole season of
That color was
fashion, that
featured in
color
a whole
was. And so
season.
like obviously it appealed to her in some way, and she was like, but was selected for you by us from a bunch of stuff,"
Right.
which I think was like a moment that she was clicking for her. And then, you know, her friends and boyfriend were giving her shit for like actually getting into her job and trying to do a good job and like have a
Yeah.
better attitude and just,
Right.
excuse me, not just drink the Kool-Aid,
Right.
which with any big job and especially fashion, you have to, unless
Well,
you want to be miserable. If you don't find a way to get something out of it, or see the bigger picture down the road and
yes.
see that this all is going to be for something, she will get great jobs from this. This is like the head editor of Runway magazine, Vogue
Yeah.
magazine, whatever, and she wants to be a journalist. Hi.
Yeah. And I think
So
that
she needs to get in there.
I think it's interesting too. It's like this is a classic case of like, listen, Anne Hathaway's character, Andrea, whatever her name is, you don't know what you don't know. And let me just school you on what you don't know. Like you think that
Yeah.
you think that fashion is real dumb and like just, not important to our
Vain
lives
and
and
just
vain and all those
simple.
things. But actually, let me tell you how this actually works.
Right.
Because you don't even know. You don't even know why you're wearing that sweater. And that, by the way, that like amazing Meryl Streep moment has had like a total comeback this year with the meme. The meme has like
Yes.
come back. It came back with like when Beyonce was at was it the what
Soup.
was that
Grammys.
last the Grammys? Yes, was it the Grammys? I was like, gosh, is that the Grammys? Yeah, it was the Grammys. And there's a meme that's like, your daughter, it's not blue. It's not periwinkle. Anyway, it's
Right.
a meme. But yes, go ahead. Just yeah,
Oh,
like
well,
she's
I
she's
think that
she's kind of arrogant in her naivety, like
she's like her friends and her boyfriend like fashion stupid and only
yeah,
like fake,
right.
empty people like fashion, like to
Sure.
look nice or wear clothes that they think look good.
Yeah.
And then she's like making fun of it for a while, and then Stanley Tucci
Oh, the
takes her
tooch.
under his wing and gives her this
Oh,
beautiful makeover
that
montage where
makeover,
she's
I
wearing like
can't
Chanel
even.
and Prada and
Oh my God.
Miu Miu and like Vivian West. I mean, it's all amazing. But then
Yes.
so she gets this little makeover. Her boyfriend's like, "I like the old Andy. I liked your old clothes."
That is so dumb.
"Oh, really?"
I thought that
Yeah.
was so stupid.
Well, and then
It's
her
like that
friends
is
are
so
like, "Oh,
dumb.
we're making fun of your job, and we don't like that you have to leave in the middle of our dumb dinner that means nothing to go help your boss. But we like all the merch that you just gave us, all the free purses and all the samples that
This is
we
why I
like that. But
yep.
we're going to be mad at you for
Yep.
having to be um pretty much ruled by this woman because that's what the job is.
Entails. Yeah,
It's just part of it.
it is.
And it's like it's a lot and it's hard. So it's not for the faint of heart and it's not for a sensitive person. Like the worst thing you can do, and I know this and you know this, is when you cry in front of your boss. And she got reprimanded for not getting Meryl Streep back into New York from Miami during a hurricane and couldn't get her on a flight. So she missed some like recital that her daughters were doing anyway. And she basically called her a failure. And you know that I had a moment like that when we were in corporate, and I was like told I was slipping because like I missed like some anyway, and it was so much pressure that Angela like all but slapped me in the bathroom, was like, get a hold of yourself. I mean,
But
it was like, and then I made the mistake of crying in
I
front
know.
of you don't cry if you cry in front of your boss.
Okay.
I mean, some
Listen.
bosses you can,
Yeah,
but
listen, Natalie.
and I'm not talking about like this is like few and far between, but I
Okay.
had a boss that I should not have cried in front of. And it's just like you have to really work your way back up to not be the crier.
Okay, but here's the thing. This is why I have mixed feelings about this, because I think that is all total and utter and complete bullshit. I really do. Like,
Why?
because, like, you should be able to be human in your job. Okay, we're not
It depends on who you're working
robots.
with.
But we're not robots. And like that's what I think is BS about all of this. It's like I get it, but at the same time it's like
But why
are
do
we
you expect them to
really
care?
because like they're humans?
But some of them, they're humans at their own home, but maybe not at work.
I know, but that's just weird. Like you should be
Well,
human in
that's how a
all
lot of really good stuff gets done.
I know, but I think that a lot of really good stuff gets done because people are creative and
Yeah.
because they are like really good at their craft and they're really, really good at what they do. You don't have to be an asshole just to be good at your job. Like you just don't, right? Like
Well, I think I
there's
see what you're saying, and I think an ideal world, and I think with a lot of jobs that does make sense. But I think with a lot of jobs that are so competitive, where you have like 100 people that would snatch your job up in 2 seconds. Like
I
it's
know.
you're too replaceable.
Yeah.
I think it's too risky to show your vulnerability and that you are like it's almost like a weakness. Like
I know. I
you know how
it's
much I smoked when I lived in New York, and I didn't let any, I mean, I never smoked at work. I would never smoke during the day because I did not want
right.
anyone I worked with to like think
Yeah.
I was smoking as because it's a sign of weakness, you know.
Right. Right.
So I was so worried about, and then also, you know, I've had so many wonderful bosses in the world. And I'm not saying this boss wasn't, didn't teach me a whole lot because quite frankly, it did make me better. It made me like, do you remember like that event happened? And then after that, like, and there's a quote that Stanley the Tucci says in this movie is like, you know, when your life goes up in smoke, that's when you're up for promotion.
Right.
Like, when it's taken over and, like, all you're doing is that, like, you're gonna
Whew.
you get rewarded. Well,
Yeah.
I feel like that has a lot of, um, truth to it.
It does, but I also just feel like this is why uh, people are so unhappy in this world.
Oh, for sure.
Like I
You
feel like
don't
it's
work in fashion and wanna be happy.
I Angela, let me just
Or you
explain to
don't
you
wanna
how it
work
is.
you don't wanna work in corporate anything if you wanna be happy. That's
I'm
not I mean, you
but
want it to
there's
because you
so
want
many
Monet and
but
you want
there's
accolades and you want
ugh.
you wanna keep going.
But see, it just absolutely
Happiness
disgusts
is an
me.
afterthought, especially in your
I
20s
know.
where you have to pay your dues to get to where your
Right.
job can make you happy but you have like, especially in New York, you have to earn that
I
happiness, like, you
I
have
know.
to go through all the shit
But here's the thing,
first.
and I
You
do
can't
and I
skip over it.
I completely agree. I mean, with that, I get it. One of the things that I do love in this movie, and I don't know if you want to jump to this yet already, is
Yeah.
that Miranda, what we find out is that Miranda is actually just as hard on herself
Yes.
as anybody else
She is
is.
towards everyone else.
And you see this glimpse into her life, and her life is not perfect,
Mhm.
and her life is hard, and she puts up this front, and I think that the front is what makes me absolutely crazy, because
Mhm.
as an artist, like for myself, like my job and my goal is to help us all like unravel the front, right? I want people to like feel their emotions and be able to be to understand like that there has to be an outlet. There has to be an
Right.
outlet for your front. Like you can't just have that front all the time.
But you don't have to necessarily utilize your boss as your outlet.
Oh, no, no, no. No, for sure. I mean,
And, I was
but
so
you would
fortunate.
never know. Like, you would never know that Miranda had this, like, sensitive
You just
human
have to
side,
you're
though,
right, like, you have well, I don't know here's
you
my
know?
thing. I don't know how sensitive it was. I know it was human,
It's
but I
human.
think
Yeah.
it's human, but I think
You
she's
don't know.
missing a sensitivity chip as far as what we have seen and what she
Mm,
allows people to see. I think that some people are so private that
yeah.
they can completely show slight vulnerability, but
Mhm.
then turns it off, like almost like get someone almost comfortable with like being like, oh, I'm so sorry. And then it's like, sorry about what? Shut up
See,
and go do your job.
that just to me like seems very sociopathic.
I don't know. Do you not think it could be like a performance?
Maybe.
I mean, they're kind of like
Maybe
in
it
a
is like
role.
yeah, it is a performance. That's
Doesn't
true.
mean that's who they are.
That's
But
true.
that's who they want to be perceived by the people that work for them, because they don't want to be like, I mean, think of it like the mafia.
But why is the setup like that in the first place?
Compare Miranda Priestley to Tony Soprano.
I know. It's so true.
Tony
It's
Soprano
such a
is
really
way
good
more
point.
vulnerable than Miranda Priestley was.
True. I mean, at least on
I
the
mean,
show, yeah.
that we are let into,
right,
that we
yeah.
get to see.
Yeah.
So I think that people like that, like Miranda Priestley, like Anna Wintour, whatever, whoever,
right,
these people only allow a certain fraction of themselves to maintain the fact that, yes, I am human. You shouldn't quit. Like, don't give up.
right.
But this is as much as you're going to get, and you need to piss off. Okay.
Yeah.
Now leave me alone. I gave you that little bit so you can like sleep on your pillow tonight, and then you can like wake up and start crying when you get to work.
I know.
Then,
yeah, I know.
I mean,
it's true.
Just hard.
But for me, working for somebody like that was absolutely soul crushing and made me like absolutely want to kill myself. I mean, not literally, but like it was so soul crushing that I was like, I'm always the one who comes into the situation and it's like, well, why are we doing it this way? This doesn't make any sense. And nobody wants to hear that. Like nobody. And and it's like, Angela, and it's like, because you don't know what you don't know, Angela. Like there is a sort of like, I get it. There's like a kind of, there can be an arrogance when you're naive that people don't like, because they're like
you're a know-it-all.
You think you know it all, but you actually don't know what you're talking about.
There's a difference. Like, you can be a know-it-all and that's it. Or you can be a know-it-all and be like, okay, and then have like a moment where you're like, well, maybe I don't. Okay, so I don't know it all. Like there's people that have the ability to take a step back and be like, no, I don't know it all. So please. And honestly, and then there are people that are like, no, they just, and I don't know how far those people get unless they genuinely do know it all.
Well,
and then if that's the case, cheers.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I don't know that this is a model that we should be like striving for at anymore in this world. Like, I don't know if we're still living in this world post COVID. I don't know if this is how things are. I mean, there are so many people making a living as like influencers and doing their own things and like blah 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 blah. Like, I wonder, if the generation that's coming up is going to put up with this kind of treatment.
Seriously doubt it. I think for me, my experience was the best thing that could have happened to me, as far as coming from, I'm in New York, living in Little Rock. I never had to have a job.
Right.
I never had to worry about paying for stuff. I was never on my own. I was such a privileged still, but I was incredibly spoiled.
Yeah.
And then to come to New York, be on my own and figure it out and start like building, and like, you can't just like, it's not like you can call your dad and be like, oh my God, she was so mean to me today.
But so many people do, Natalie.
But you can't, I mean, it doesn't matter. I think I came out better, and I think it made me actually, it made me tougher with like that whole scene. And it also made me create a very stronger work ethic, and it took my emotions out of it. And it was like, your boss is your boss. You're not going to be best friends. You're not even always going to be friends, but sometimes you are, if you're lucky enough. Because I've been lucky in that way also, like a bunch. But this taught me, it was like, just keep your shit out of it. She doesn't care. Do your work and do the best you can, and try not to take it home with you if you have that luxury in your 20s. Like, to spend your 20s when I've had no work experience. I deserved to have my ass handed to me. I think that was the only way I was going to ever learn what a good work ethic was, because I'd seen my dad work his ass off, my whole life, but I had no basis of comparison. I saw what my sister was going through, and it only made sense that and she worked all through college, and she, always had a job. So I needed this ginormous reality check that you don't matter. You don't matter. None of us matter.
I think that's also, it's just what you're describing is like being humbled. I mean, I feel like,
I think she was in this movie. I think like it was like, I was like,
she kind of was. See, I think the thing is, she was humbled, but I think that she needed to be, because she was like, well, I'm like a hot shit, like
She was
writer.
arrogant.
I'm arrogant. And she doesn't even know what she doesn't know. She doesn't know that she's not the most important person in the room. But it's not just that. It's also like, you're not good at your craft yet, honey. Like, you're not good at your craft. You're not as good at your craft as you think you are. And like,
Right.
you need somebody to tell you, like, and you need to earn this. This is not, you're not. And I feel like what we're going through right now a lot in our world is like, people, like, for example, they come in and they want to do singing lessons or whatever. And like, they don't realize, like, I'm like, let me give you some, you need to go back to basics. Like, you don't even, you're
Right.
not, you're, and it can be very challenging for people because they don't realize, like, no, honey, you got to be able to just like sing the song like one time through, like without any, like, just give me
Before
the
you
song.
book a gig.
Before you book a gig. Yeah. You're,
Like, people
you're not
need
ready.
to utilize these resources, whether they're
Yes.
assholes or not. Like, these
Right.
people know more than we do in a specific category.
Yes.
A certain knowledge that we don't have. And just because they're dicks doesn't mean like you're not going to learn. I mean, a buttload.
I just think it's a, I think that, but I also think that's kind of a New York thing. I think this is very much a New York movie, like, because I also feel like New York itself kicks your ass. Just living there kicks your ass.
Yeah.
Like,
well, there's not much else you can do other than go to work and go home. And buy your cigarettes and Jameson on the way home, and that's your dinner.
Somebody posted something the other day. It was like, what I look like when I'm telling people I live in New York. And it's like, woo! And then it's like, what I actually look like living in New York.
No, I had holes in my shoes and it didn't have a functioning winter coat. I mean, it was bleak.
Yeah, it's
but
bleak.
It was fabulous. I mean,
okay, let's get on with the movie.
Yeah.
One of the, I have, those are my only like big. I think this is an interesting movie because look at how much discussion it has generated for us about like what it is to be like privileged, what it is to be like the smartest person in the room, what it is to be like humbled, and why is that necessary? What it is to like be in a creative field. Like when it all comes down to it, fashion is a creative field. It's artists and designers and divas.
Absolute art.
It's art. And so like you cannot like not everybody is an artist. Not everybody is good at their craft. Like,
and the work that goes into making these fabulous clothes.
Yes. And the
like,
work
people
that goes
are doing that. People are making these clothes.
Try to go do a makeup tutorial sometime and makeup artists, like they are so good at their craft. Like try to do somebody's hair sometime. It's hard. All this stuff is hard,
Yeah, it's
and so like
try to do someone's skin sometime,
Yeah. Whether you think
step in my shoes.
Try to laser somebody's crotch sometime. I mean,
see how that goes.
See how
it's
that
not
goes
as easy
you.
as it sounds, people. Not as easy.
Right. And it's like we having respect for this as like an industry is important. I mean, for some of us, not everybody thinks that this is important. And I get that. I totally get that. Not everybody thinks
it's part of everybody's life. No
it
matter
kind
what,
of is kind of ubiquitous.
It's a daily, if you put clothes on, it's
as an American.
It's a part of every.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. As a privileged American, if you put clothes on and you have that luxury of access to any type of style, anything you can like, you're fortunate enough to care about and have options of what you wear.
But
it's
see,
part
then
of your life.
This is why I love Paris and Italy and Milan, because they actually like embrace fashion as part of their culture. Like it's important. One of the things I remember when I was in France, when I was just 19 years old, was women are like walking around and they're in dresses and skirts and high heels. I was like, oh my God, these women are like impeccably dressed.
Oh, they're all dressed like Sex in the City all the time.
I felt so, or not, like they would be wearing some kind of like simple outfit that just looked so chic.
But it's,
and I was
just
right.
It's
and
always
I was like
put together, and
I was like
perfect.
Oh my gosh, these people just have like this innate sense of style and fashion. It's part of the culture, and like, and it's to be able to. That was like coming off the heels of the '90s when everything was baggy and oversized and blah blah blah.
I love it.
To wear like a form-fitting outfit in the '90s was revolutionary, right?
I know.
God.
Yeah.
Anyway,
well,
what else do you want to talk about?
Some of the plot. Let's go back to some of the plot.
Yeah.
Let's go to some of the fun stuff. So first of all the clothes are fabulous. Like I want every single one of Meryl Streep's outfits. I want every single coat that she wore.
I want all of the styling, all of her out. I want her hair, like everything. Even the gray hair looks fabulous on her.
Was just perfection.
I know.
And honestly, like I think Meryl Streep's nonverbal communication in this movie was like one of my favorite parts, other than like the clothes and just like the storyline, because it was just like the things that were coming out of her mouth without her mouth even moving, just with her looks, was so good.
Her eyeing up and down.
The up and down. I was like, I mean, I felt like she was doing it to me.
I know.
was like, I should not be watching this movie in a robe. I need to go get fully dressed and put on mascara.
I know,
like,
totally.
I don't deserve to be watching this right now. She just looked at me like that.
I know.
I mean, I totally took it personally.
Like, Meryl, why are you undressing me with your
I know.
eyes in this way? Why are you dressing me down?
I know.
I'm sorry.
So she's okay. So Anne Hathaway gets picked to go to Paris for Fashion Week, and it devastates Emily Blunt because Emily Blunt's been sick. She gets hit
Yes.
by a car. Meryl's like, I'm over her. You have to come. You're the best.
Yep.
And then she and the douchebag boyfriend break up because he's like, I just like can't believe you're more like boots are more important than our relationship. I'm like, okay,
yeah.
you suck. And it's not.
No.
And then the creepy Simon Baker blonde friend comes in. And he has the skinniest scarves. It's so cringe.
Oh,
he's wearing these huge collars with skinny little scarves. And like as the movie goes on, his scarves get thinner and thinner. You know,
pretty soon it's just like a string.
It's just like a string around his neck. It's just so gross.
Yeah.
But she goes to Paris Fashion Week, and she's by Miranda's side, and she breaks up with dude. She sleeps with creepy Simon Baker guy, and then Stanley Tucci gets screwed over by Meryl Streep because she was going to lose her position, so she saved her own job, having to sacrifice his promotion, whatever. And then they're in this car, at the end of the movie, and Miranda gives Anne Hathaway this talk like, I see a lot of myself in you, which was like, wee-oo.
Yeah.
I mean,
red flag. Just like, oh,
that
no.
would have been hard for me to swallow.
Right.
I mean, if your boss said that to me, I'd be like, uh-huh. And then she's like, everybody wants to be us. And so,
yeah.
And then Anne Hathaway's like, I don't want to be you. So girlfriend has a hissy fit. Okay. She gets out of the car and she walks away and doesn't go to the next fashion show.
Right.
Personally,
yeah,
I would have finished out my work trip that I had said I would do and then I would professionally quit my job if that, like when I got home.
Yeah.
Because after all that she's been through, having to find the Harry Potter books that hadn't been published and all these things that she had shown that she can do for this, for this job and all the clothes, all the things, she just like walks away. And I'm sorry, did she have to buy her own plane ticket home, or did she have a ticket that her boss wouldn't have canceled?
That's where this is like that's where this is very Hollywood ending kind of thing.
Yeah. So, and then this is like, I love, it's such a good plot. And the end, I love the end, but I have a bone to pick with the end of this movie. She meets back up with, after she's quit this job, she meets back up with her ex-boyfriend douchebag, and she apologizes and tells him he was right about her job, which he completely dismissed the entire, he did not give her enough credit. He did not support her.
What has she been through? And like, come on.
He didn't acknowledge that it was like a serious job.
And she doesn't acknowledge it either because she doesn't have any self-reflection at this point.
She's like a hurt puppy.
I know. It's not good.
And maybe had she met up with him after she had her, which is obviously like a fake New York Times job interview.
Yeah.
And she goes and dude's like, so you were at Runway Magazine for less than a year. What happened there?
Right.
She's like, I goofed. Like, basically, I messed up. And then Miranda, which she had already threatened to like keep her out of the publishing world, she gives her this amazing
glowing recommendation.
She's like, if you don't hire her, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
And then she like leaves feeling on top of the world. I wish she had met up with douchebag ex-boyfriend after that meeting.
Yeah.
She would have been like, I just got a job at the New York Times.
Right.
And you helped with none of that grilled cheese or no grilled cheeses. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
And he's going to Boston, and they leave it open like they might get back together. I was like,
I know. She doesn't need that guy.
She's going to meet a fellow person. She's going to meet somebody else. Okay.
Find somebody else, Andy. Yeah. Find somebody else.
You got this, girl.
What is the Tooch doing? Oh, is he gay? I guess he's gay.
They don't really say. I mean, they just don't allude to that men in fashion are gay, and that's not necessarily true, obviously.
Yeah,
but
I love this movie though, and I
do too.
I do feel like I'm doing that thing.
I know.
I hate it when people do that.
To do a pit stop.
Yeah, sorry. I just kind of leaned into that too.
That was not
really sorry.
It's okay.
I just don't know if we're still living in this world where like this movie is relevant. I don't know. but I still really love it because it
I
really
think it was
mirrors.
relevant in the 2000s, like early,
Yeah,
like
2006 when it came out. 2008 or
2000,
2006?
probably like forever up until
2006.
2012 or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. This came
Yeah.
out in 2006, people. So don't
Yeah.
remember that, like, this is old. Like,
Yeah, and
it's, you
and you
know,
can keep it light, but I think
absolutely.
there's a lot of ways to like really get in there, and this is like could be really
100%.
empowering. It's really relatable,
Yeah.
and it's just it's super accurate
Yeah.
too. I mean,
I
I don't
know.
think Lauren can even watch that
Watch it.
movie anymore.
Yeah.
No,
It's like too
I
traumatizing.
mean it's way
Yeah.
too traumatizing for
Yeah.
her.
We have to take a pit stop, Natalie,
Yeah,
because we have just been gabbing forever. Darren is like nodding his head, like, y'all have a lot to
I
talk about.
know,
Like, geez Louise. He's like,
I know.
this is not 30 minutes. But y'all, thank you so much for being with us to listen to
Thank
our
you.
episode here on Devil Wears Prada. We could go on and on about this forever, but Natalie, I do have a little pit stop and it's real dumb. It's really stupid. So will you please allow me to? I
Can
lost her
you?
again. I've lost Natalie.
I'm
Okay.
here. I can see you, but it said okay. Back. We can edit that out. We can edit
You
that.
back?
I'm back.
Oh,
Can you
we're
hear
going to
me?
edit those. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I can hear you. Yeah, but it's
All right.
blurry. You're blurry.
You're not blurry.
Mm. Well, you are.
Oh, well, there you go.
Your mom is. Sorry, just kidding.
Apparently.
I don't know your mom. Whatever.
You know my mom.
I don't know why I make that joke. Is what I'm saying. All right.
All right, ready?
Pit stop.
Woo!
So Natalie, I'm really sorry. This is the stupidest pit stop. These are the celebrity mashup names that nobody needed. Okay.
I don't think that's the case.
I know, but it's really dumb. So I saw this meme that said Jay-Z Lee Curtis. So it was like a mashup of Jamie Lee and Jay-Z. Okay. Like
Mm-hmm.
Jay-Z Lee Curtis. So then I started thinking up new ones. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So just imagine these celebrities' faces like posted together, like merged into, like Facetune or Face Swap, like
Mm-hmm.
that thing. Okay, so just imagine these. Okay, just get the
Okay.
visual in your mind. This is really dumb. Here it is.
Okay.
Olivia Newton, John Cougar.
Good.
Okay, good one, right?
Solid. Uh-huh.
Santana Nicole Smith.
Okay.
Okay, right?
I love that.
Santana and Anna
Yes.
Nicole Smith. Okay, yeah, I
Good
know.
shout out. Love
Thanks.
it.
Stevie Wonder Woman. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Solid.
Are you with me? Mm-hmm.
Yep, I
Solid.
love
Like
it.
he's gonna be like swirling and he's like,
Yeah.
Wonder Woman. Okay.
Yeah.
Here's another one. Dustin Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Wow, that's strong.
Get the visual though.
That is a strong one. I love this.
All right.
That's so crazy that you did that because I took it upon myself to do a celebrity name, dog pet name
Oh,
mashup.
tell me what it is.
So had Keen help me and Scott help me with this, but the first one I came up with was Brad Pitbull.
Hello.
Okay.
Wonderful. Love it.
Bark Wahlberg. This one is Scott's Justin Retriever.
Oh my God.
I came up with this one. Bradley Pooper.
Oh my God.
Oh, and Scott did this one. Sam German Shepherd.
Oh my God. That is so good.
I did this Gwyneth Paltrow.
Oh my God.
And
These are so good.
Keen came up with Cardi P.
Oh my God. Like pee, because dogs, we know they like to pee.
Mark Ruffalo.
Oh, Mark Ruffalo. That's just like naturally in there.
Beyonce Bowles.
Oh my, because dog bowls, right? Got it. Wow, you have a lot.
And then you know that cute singer that was on Saturday Night Live with she has curly reddish hair, Ice Spice. She's like some
Ice Spice, yes.
Ice Spaniel.
Cute.
Ice Spice Samuel, something like that.
Yeah.
I didn't say it right, but yeah. So we did, that was
I had a couple more.
Charles Barkley. I don't even have to
I came up with Charles Barkley because I knew you were going to do the dog ones. I also was like Snoop Dogg, just Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
Just Snoop Dogg. Just
yeah.
And then I have a couple more. There's another one with Mr. Ed Sheeran.
Yes.
Okay, that's like Mr. Ed the horse, right?
Got it. Totally.
SpongeBob Newhart. Thank you. You're very welcome.
I love that one. It's a really good one.
And then, of course, Stevie Nicks Nolte. Because
that's my favorite.
Right.
Stevie Nicks Nolte.
But like
anything Nick Nolte.
Just think of those faces
That's
together,
great.
just mashed up. I mean,
I just love the names too. Well, I think that Stevie Nicks Nick Nolte is not a. I mean, just look at his mugshot, and I think we're kind of there.
We're getting there. Well, you sent me that. Thank you, by the way, for sending me that video of him playing guitar and singing.
That was Gary Busey.
I'm sorry. That was Gary Busey. I thought it was Nick. I thought it was Nick.
Shame on yourself. No, that's Gary Busey.
Sorry. So, listeners, Natalie
we're
sent
big
me.
Fans of Gary Busey.
She sent me a. She sent me a video of Gary Busey playing guitar and singing, and it was intense.
It was current.
Anyway, okay. So that kind of concludes our episode, everybody. Yes. We have really gotten into the weeds on Devil Wears Prada, but also just our own. Like, I didn't realize it was going to be quite so thought-provoking.
I didn't think it was going to hit us so hard. I mean,
no, it hit us kind of hard.
It's a fabulous movie, and you can watch it and keep it light. Mm-hmm. But being able to talk about this with Angela, we worked together during
this era,
both this era, and I mean, I moved to New York in 2006.
Yes, yeah, I moved in 2005.
And that's when I began my corporate journry in the NYC.
Yeah, exactly.
Which, I want to be clear. It was a much a privilege to have been able to get the job that I got. So
true.
Not for nothing. I do know that.
I gotcha. It's not okay. For nothing. Everybody knows.
Yeah.
Anyway, So anyway, this has been a stimulating and riveting conversation. So Thank you for going down this Devil Wears Prada road with me. And I want to say to you some things. I want to say, first of all, that I love you very much.
I love you too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And also, I want to say namaste in my cerulean blue sweater.
Ooh. Namaste. That's all.
That's all.
No. That's all.
That's all.
That's all.
That's all. I can only give you love that lasts forever.
That's all.
And a promise to be near each time you call.
Like that is it.
That is I don't remember the words right here.
'Cause we're done here and that's all we have to share.
That's all.
And see.
Now, isn't that better? Thanks for listening. Feel free to leave us a review and be sure to subscribe wherever you get your shows. Put Your Books Down is produced by ClantonCreative.com.